to call this special meeting, thank you, of the Newman Crows Landing Unified School District School Board to order now, and roll call. Mr. Bazar?
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Cabral?
Here.
Mrs. Hurst?
I don't know. Yeah. Yes.
Mr. Rivas?
Here.
Hey, yay, see, I get a A+. Okay, all here. Any member of the audience desiring to comment on a closed session item may do so when the board president asks for public comments. Please step to the podium and state your name. That'll be after when we get back. Okay, closed session. 101. Close that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, thanks.
May I please have everybody stand for the flag salute? Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess we have to. Okay. Any person wishing to comment on agenda and non-agenda items may do so. Please step to the podium and state your name. It would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes. California law prohibits the school board from taking action on any matter which is not posted on the agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the board. There's nobody here. No phone calls in, correct? No. Per board policy BB 9323, individual speakers may be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for the public presentation depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. And I don't believe we have someone. Okay, here we go. Report out of action taken in closed session. There was none. Thank you. Discussion items, the governance handbook. This is one we've had for a while.
Yeah. So President Kafori, the reason why I just wanted to share this with you again is not that you guys see it every year in December and stuff, but our managers don't always see this, and it has a lot of application in terms of the recommendations and stuff for them as well. You'll see the copy that I gave you is highlighted and have some kind of written notes. Those are things I'm going to be sharing with our managers on next Tuesday. But it talks about things basically about that board members channel all the requests to the superintendent, and that if you go someplace and somebody asks you a question or has a concern, gives you some ideas of receiving the information, and then finding out what they want you to do with that, and then letting the superintendent know. And the same kind of thing applies to people coming up to a principal or a manager as well. So.
And the idea also that myself and the superintendent are technically the only two who speak to newspapers.
Yeah, what it says in here is basically that the
Yes.
superintendent is kind of the spokesperson, and if the board basically is determined that you should be speaking on their behalf, then that's what happens. So, and then it also talks about basically prior to every meeting, if there's a question regarding the board agenda, that you let me know. Well, that applies to our staff as well. If they have a question about it, they should come to us. They should, there's no reason for them to come to the board meeting, although we certainly want them to come to the board meeting if they want to share something that is of importance to you. And hopefully, especially after Frank's request last time to actually let them, they need to share. If something is on their mind, they should share it in public. So we want them to know that. But so that's kind of basically just what we're going to be sharing with them, and talking about kind of appropriate action with their people that they supervise, so mainly just an information item for you. I don't know if there's any questions or.
Does anyone have questions about this? No? I think it's a good idea to have a meeting with, especially with as many new staff members too that are coming, so that our administrative staff can give them information also. Okay, superintendent search. Mr. Philpott had sent me this list and I went online, and as you all know, I'm not the best tech person in the world, so it took me a while. But I went through some of them. When I was looking through the Scion ones, I said, they when I looked at what they did and who they talked to, and it didn't seem to fit into what we needed. And I know the Leadership Associates, Glendora, I was surprised being Southern California, but they have a tendency to do more districts our size. And the other one that I would like to hear speak to us is McPherson and Jacobson. Like you said, they did Riverbank, and they're also, I was wondering which one was associated with our CSBA, and that is McPherson and Jacobson. They have a partnership. So are there any other?
Yes, we had asked the superintendent if we could have to visit us.
Well, you can direct me to do anything you want to as a group. So if you want to, I mean, my recommendation is I tend to think that leadership is probably the better fit, based upon basically your partner who actually would be probably in charge of the search for us is Tom Chignon, who is former county superintendent and very familiar with the area. They just recently, Mac and Jake just recently changed their lead person to somebody that I don't know. But he's not in this, he's not from this area.
Mac and
McPherson.
Okay.
Yeah, they go by Mac and Jake.
Okay.
They just recently changed their lead person, and I mean, we certainly could ask them if they can make a presentation. I will tell you that their presentation usually lasts probably maybe 20 minutes with questions and stuff from you, so that's 40 minutes of presentation. So I just want to make sure that you understand that.
The reason that I would like to see both is because, I mean, I'd like to hear what they have to say because, yes, Tom Chignon is good, but I'd like to find out why CSBA went with them, to look at them and see why.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's the same reason why CSBA, you'll see Lozano Smith and some other law firms that basically they sponsor things with CSBA. But I mean, we can contact both firms and ask them to make a presentation.
Well, that's just my.
Yeah, so and I would suggest that if you do that, the sooner you make a selection, the better. Because I think even in talking to some of the other groups here, they've all said that if you start pretty soon, you'll probably find somebody by January.
Are there other board members that have ideas?
Yeah.
Which group you might possibly like to go to, or would you rather talk to two?
Look at it for a brief moment, and like what everybody's pretty much had said already is the Leadership Associates have done a lot of work in California in our area with districts our size.
Correct.
They're more local people, so that way they can kind of steer us in the right direction, like demographically and the makeup of our school district. So I would prefer to use closer to home unit than somebody from Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that's just my 2 cents. So I mean.
All right, are there any?
Yeah, I would, like Mr. Philpott said, recommendation would be that one. I would say Leadership Associates would be.
Mr. Bizarre?
Well, I don't have any problem with hearing from two of them, so since two of you would like to hear from the others, that's fine with me too.
I don't want to box ourselves
that's
into
fine.
something, and even though they're from
Yeah.
Nebraska,
The
they're,
two that you've suggested sound fine to me.
Yeah, that's fine too.
If we could schedule it maybe a little, I don't know, does anybody want to start at 4 that day?
I don't care.
And then they could do
That
it
would be-
first, then we could go into closed session and discuss it, then
And
we
then
could
make
come
a
out
decision.
and make
That-
our
yes,
decision.
that-
Well,
How's that
Sounds
sound?
good, yeah.
So then, huh?
Okay.
almost good.
Yeah.
Almost good.
Why is it
What,
almost?
we can't do closed?
What?
They can't talk us in closed. They have
You
to
gotta
talk
do
to
it in
us
public
open
session, but you could start, we could start at 4, but it would have to be the public session. You could start the
What do you
public.
mean when we decide it? Yeah, we could
Well-
decide it, but could we?
has to happen.
Presentation really should be
That's
done
fine.
publicly.
I was thinking we could start
Yeah.
with them. They present in open session, everybody listens to them.
Yep,
Then we go into closed session.
yes.
If we can't discuss their presentation in closed session, that's okay with me too. We'd at least get through with whatever closed
Yes.
session stuff we have.
And then come
we
back
come
out
back
here.
out
Yeah.
here and we're ready to go.
And you make a recommendation possibly at that time, at that time.
Yes, yes, uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be four. If you think it's 20 minutes apiece,
we'll kind of gauge it by how much other things we have going on. Now, that first meeting in August, we're gonna be bringing back basically presentations of schools and things like that. So that first meeting, there's gonna be, the ag department's gonna come and talk about the fair and what's going on there. Probably some kids will
Yeah.
come in.
Alright.
Back to school festival will be reviewed a little bit, and also, summer school. But that probably would take maybe a half an hour at the
Yeah.
most.
okay.
And,
Well,
So-
I mean, if people have time conflicts and they don't want to start at 4, that's okay with me. I'm
So you
a
think
tired
like
guy.
maybe like 30-minute presentation for each, company?
20.
I think 20 may be a piece, I think.
Okay.
I can,
So-
when, if,
4 to go to 4:30 for the first one, then the second one can go 4:30 to like 5, just so that way they don't feel rushed or whatever.
yeah, I think,
Yeah,
when I call them, I'll ask them how long normally the presentation would be, and see if I can't kind of make it equal for both of them, because I think
Okay.
you don't want to have one
Right,
going an
right,
hour,
right.
one
Yeah.
going 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And that'll give you time to use the,
Well, then I'll make a motion.
Well, can I just ask a question, just to make sure, so if we had to meet at 4, is that okay for everybody?
I'm good.
Okay,
It's first day of school, right?
would you,
yes, it's first day of school, yeah.
okay,
Open that?
yeah, please.
Someone,
I think Tim,
we don't have to have a motion?
I'm gonna make a motion.
But we got direction, so that's, I can.
Yeah, that's direction,
All right,
yeah.
if you don't need a
Okay.
motion, then I won't make a motion,
Nope.
but I was ready to make a motion.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, so I'm putting down on the 14th that we might start at 4.
Yes.
Uh-huh,
that's our original board meeting. but-
It was?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's our original board meeting. So,
All right. Yeah, the day, but the 4 wasn't. but it's-
No, yeah, original board meeting, but,
We're so used to 4 o'clock because of other.
All right. Anyway, what else is on the agenda?
okay,
okay,
the employees.
okay. Consent calendar, approve employment and employment changes. May I have a motion?
A motion?
I'll second.
Was Frank first?
It was,
I motion.
Okay,
and Donnie second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There we go. Okay, that's done. And then do you see the agenda reviews? There, for the,
That's our meeting for.
Our meeting
review.
for- with
That's
Randy.
just us.
What's this,
Just us.
Because it wasn't, normally consent is done all at one time, in this case, it's actually separate, so you,
Wow.
you'll need to approve on the warrants.
Right.
Okay, okay. Does that keep coming on?
Okay, we need.
A separate
approval for-
motion?
Yes,
For the one.
of warrants in the
Okay.
amount of one.
I'll make a motion that we approve the warrants in the amount of $1,316,673.44.
No, second it.
Rose,
Second
second,
it.
and this has to be a roll call vote.
All right.
Tim, Mr.
Yes.
Bizarre,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And Mrs. Conforti votes aye, it's passed 5-0.
Okay.
Should the employment have been a roll call also? It's good, okay. Action items, approve change order request for Harris Builders Incorporated for the Von Renner Multipurpose Administration Building in the amount of, may I ask what that,
You want to have, Mrs. Mendoza actually put something
Mrs.
back.
Oh, good.
You want to talk about it?
Yes, in your board backup, there were the documents for both of the change orders. For the Von Renner project, there's a credit of $119,000. Most of that is kitchen equipment that we will buy ourselves. We will purchase through cafeteria funds so that that's not coming out of bond funds, and we can get those for cheaper than the contractors listed, the listed price that the contractors listed. And then there were a couple of other small items. One was pertaining to the track. which is work that we're doing also by the maintenance department. And there was one other small one that was just a small change that came off, and the total was a credit of 119,000. For the pool project, that is a cost increase of $95,000, and that's some additional grounds work for ground in between the gym and the pool. There had to be some irrigation tie-ins that were not, it was part of the original drawings, and then there was a new fence put in. It's kind of the area in front of the ticket booth, if you're familiar with that area. So it's gonna redo that whole area right in there and finish it off. So those two kind of cancel each other out. It's not often that they do that, but in this case, we wanted to bundle them together so to kind of lessen the impact. So it's a savings on one, it'll be a cost increase on the other. Mhm.
Okay, I move that
The first one.
we approve the change order request for Harris Builders Inc. for Von Renner Multipurpose Estate Building.
I'll second it.
Done. Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passed 5-0. Approved change order for Harris Builders for the Oristempa High School Pool Tennis Courts project in the amount of $95,943. May I have a motion?
All motion for approval.
Don?
Second it.
Okay, Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passed 5-0. Approve agreement for legal services with Lozano Smith. Was that in?
Is it?
So, we use a lot of different law firms. We use F3, which is short for something, Frost Fagan. Yeah, we use them mainly for special ed, although we do ask them sometimes some questions, other questions, and we use mostly Atkinson, that's with Chet Quaid and stuff. We have used Lozano Smith. It doesn't commit us to anything. All it does is it has an engagement letter. There's no retainer or anything we have to pay, but that way if we need a third opinion or a second opinion on something, we can go to that attorney. So I recommend that we go ahead and approve that agreement.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I got 2 seconds. Don?
It was Donna, I think.
Don second.
Okay, Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passed 5-0. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So we will start our next board meeting at 4 instead of
All right, good deal.